Hey guys, this is Heather from healthyveganrecipes.net. So today I'm going to show you a recipe for a carrot dip. And I haven't actually made this recipe before, so we'll see how it goes today. The reason I am making it is because this weekend is Phil's birthday, and one of our favorite things to do for a celebration dinner is to have a night of entirely appetizers. And I was trying to think of a different kind of dip that I could make, so this is what I'm going to try. I'm doing it in advance just in case it doesn't turn out that I can make something else. But don't worry, we'll figure out a way to make it work. So let's get started with the base ingredient, which is, of course, carrots. Alright, so this is going to start off with a bunch of carrots, and I've just chopped off the ends of my carrots and scrubbed and cut off any rough bits. And then I'm just going to chop it into rough chunks and put it into the food processor here. If you have a grating attachment, it's also an excellent way to do this. You can grate the carrot first and then go from there. Now for those of you who want to skip ahead to the recipe, I will post the recipe at healthyveganrecipes.net. Making whatever adjustments I need to make this thing work. And I'm making a fairly big batch here. Now you can also do this in a blender, but you're going to need to add some liquid to start it off. Whereas the food processor, you can just chop up. I'm going to do it on pulse, so then you can have more control over how much liquid you add to this. Because it's a dip, I like to make it a bit thicker, whereas in a blender it comes out a little bit thinner. Okay, so you see it's gotten pretty well chopped up here, and this is also using raw carrots. I like to do more raw foods in the summer because I don't have to turn the oven on and make the house hot, and I also don't have to eat the cooked foods, which make me hot. But you can also do this dip with cooked carrots and they will get a lot smoother. But moving on, I am going to add in here a couple of cloves of garlic. These are small cloves. Don't want to do too much because raw garlic is pretty potent. And what I'm going to do is actually press the garlic into here because otherwise it might not get fully chopped up even in the food processor. So I'm just going to press it through here. And you can see the garlic coming out of the press. Then all I'm going to do is scrape that off with a knife. And give that another shot. The next thing I'm going to throw in here is some fresh parsley, and cilantro is excellent as well, but I don't have any, and you all know I'm not the biggest fan of cilantro, so anyway, parsley, in you go. And then I want to add a bit of liquid here, a bit of flavor, and also make this a little bit creamier. So what I'm going to do is add some apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, also lovely, or lime juice. I'm going to add about a tablespoon. And then to thicken it up and to cream with the vinegar, I'm going to add some tahini. Tahini is just sesame seed butter. Make sure it's all mixed together. All you should have in the ingredients on your tahini, by the way, is sesame seeds. That's all you want to see on there. No added salt, no added sugar, no added oil. Just ground up sesame seeds. So get that in there. And then blend this together. And this is where we want to make sure we get the right consistency. So I'm going to blend this and then see how it goes. I'm not sure how the texture of the carrots is going to work out, so we'll check back in a minute. All right, so it's mixing up nicely, but it is a little bit dry, and I don't want to get too vinegary here, so I'm going to actually add a bit of water and let it blend for a little bit longer. So that's looking a lot better, but it's still a little bit chunky from the carrots. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit more tahini and a little bit more vinegar to try to get it creamier. Alright, so I've got a pretty good texture going on here. It's still a little bit chunky from the raw carrots, but that's to be expected. They are raw, so I don't think it's going to get totally smooth. Another option here that I was thinking of is you could use an avocado instead of the tahini, and that would make things quite a bit creamier and softer. But my main motivation for making this dip today was to show you a dip that you could make that really doesn't cost very much. Carrots are pretty cheap. I don't know about you, but I have them kicking around in my fridge all the time because they're just one of the cheapest vegetables. And on my nutrition blog this week, I've been talking about how to save money when grocery shopping. So you can check those blogs out at healthyeatingstartshere.com. But anyway, now that we've got our carrot dip base, that's when you can start to season it. And I taste a little bit. It's got a nice garlic kick, but it doesn't have any kind of full seasoning going on yet. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you an ingredient I use not very often, but occasionally. It is umi plum vinegar made from umeboshi plums. You can find it in the Asian section or in a Japanese or Chinese grocery store. It is Japanese, and what you use it for is not for vinegar. The apple cider was the vinegar for this one. It is basically salt, and I talked about it in my nutrition blog this week, but 1 tablespoon, 1200 milligrams of sodium. So you're not using very much of this at all. It is in place of a crystal salt. And so you want to be very careful with it. The benefit of using this over a crystal salt is that it's been fermented. So that was like half a teaspoon. So the salt has been fermented into this liquid, so it's not as potent when it acts on your body. So it's great to use in dips or things that are raw because you won't be cooking the salt. Whereas if you take the crystal salt and you put it in cooked food, it has time to merge with the food and not affect your body quite so much. Okay, so on with the seasonings. I'm going to use some onion powder. If you want to use fresh onion, by all means, I would recommend a sweet onion like a Vidalia or a Bermuda onion. I have a friend who's from Bermuda. Or some green onions because the flavor is softer. I don't have either of those, so I'm using onion powder today. Then I've got some ground cumin. Ooh, I'm going to use a bit more of this. Oops, perhaps a bit much, but that's okay. I like cumin, goes nicely with carrots. And then I've got some paprika to spice things up a bit. And with these spices, put as much or as little in here as you like, because some people won't like cumin. You could replace it with something else. Some people won't like paprika, and replace it with something else. Some people like really spicy food, and then you can add some cayenne if you want. But I like to stick with paprika. It's a bit more of a mild spice. And then this is nutritional yeast. This is just going to give it a bit of a cheesy, salty kind of flavor. And again, that's optional. So, one last time, and then we'll test it to see what it tastes like. Alright, probably need to give it a stir partway through to make sure the flavorings get mixed all through this dip. And then comes the moment of truth. That's really good. I'm impressed. I wasn't sure what to expect from a carrot dip, but I like it. So what you can do with this, what I'm going to do with it is probably put it onto some sliced cucumber, just rounds, and I have this slicer that makes like a zigzag cut. Always very fun for little chip type things. So just top that with the carrot dip, and other things you could do. You could stuff a mushroom with it. You could stuff a pepper. You could get carried away stuffing whatever you want. Or you could put it in a sandwich. It would make a nice spread, I think. Or on little toasts, crackers. The possibilities are endless. So have fun with it. Play with whatever seasonings you want. I like it like this. I like the cumin. And it wasn't too much, actually. It looked like a lot when I dumped it in, but tastes really nice. So yeah, have fun with it. Enjoy. Carrot dip. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment.